What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some more live content for you guys today. And yeah, we're going to start it off on a bad note, unfortunately, because I'm sure you've all heard the injury news that have rocked Spurs once again. Lucas Bergvall is set to miss the next 2-3 months due to an injury on his ankle. We all saw him hobbling at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Tuesday night. And yeah, we were watching it on the watch and I was like, oh, Bergvall's not moving right here, but he decided to try and run it off, went off the pitch, came back on the pitch, and now he's out for the next 2-3 months, which is absolutely gutting news, because I, for one, was saying that I thought we looked a lot better in midfield with having Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, two players that are very comfortable on the ball. Well, it lasted, what, an hour? And now we're going to be the next 2-3 months without him. I think it's literally just one after another now. It's just like, after last season, you're like, all right, surely that can't happen again. And it's like history repeating itself all over again. It's just madness.
Crazy. Every single week we're getting a new long-term injury. That now is 7 long-term injuries Tottenham currently have in their squad, with Maddison, Kulusevski, Ben Davis, Richarlison, Rodrigo Bentancur, now Lucas Bergvall as well. It's absolutely crazy, the amount of long-term injuries at Tottenham currently, and Mohamed Kudus as well. So 7 long-term injuries. When it comes to Lucas Bergvall, Tottenham now have a history of a player having a serious injury and trying to run it off. And look, who knows if he made it worse or not in that little period, but he was on for like another 5 minutes, wasn't he, before he just couldn't continue. And it looked like a serious injury before that, because he was down for quite a while, I remember. It was about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Looked in serious pain. If you actually watch the footage, Junai Beifeld was stripped off and ready to come on. And then Bergvall goes to the side, does a little jog, tries, runs up a touch down the touchline. They decide, okay, we're going to give him another go. Junai goes and sits down, and then a few minutes later, he sits down and is like, look, I'm done. And but it's crazy.
It's a carbon copy of Decky's. That's exactly what happened with Decky.
And Decky came on like without a kneecap, essentially. Yeah. And Bergvall has some sort of ankle strain, and gutting for him. And also, I really hope it doesn't set back his development more, because I thought last season he developed really nicely. Start of the season quite rusty, getting used to the Premier League and whatever. By the time January came, he was fully into the team, and one of our better performances, culminating in that man of that performance against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, was then literally a fixture in the team up until April. I think it was against, but was it the Boda game? He got injured in the lead up to that game, and he missed the rest of the season. So coming into this season, you really hope that he would kick on from that. And I think it's been a combination of misprofiling from Thomas Frank, playing in different positions, maybe as well the team he's in not performing to the best of his capabilities. Although he was in a struggling team last season and played well, but this season, the team hasn't been functioning great. I wouldn't say he's been bad when he's played. He just hasn't kicked on from last season, unfortunately.
I think it's more of the case of the misprofiling and not him not playing in his best positions. Like, he's been utilised mostly as a 10 this season, sometimes out on the left wing. Very rarely have we seen him being utilised in the same position as where he made a name for himself last season. That's the reality.
Yeah.
And last game was one of the only times he had a start there. And look, he didn't blow anyone away, but I thought he had a really good game and really helped the team play the stuff which we did play on the day. So I think this news is gutting. It really is, man.
So hopefully, who knows when he'll be back in April time or whatever. Hopefully, look, next season, if it's a new manager, we'll have to wait and see. They can use him in a better way, because I think there's such serious talent there. We've seen that throughout his Spurs career. Even at points this season, we've still seen that. You got to also, it's easy to forget, he's still 19. He's still so young, got so many years ahead of him. But it's also worrying now that 2 seasons in a row he's picked up a long-term injury. So that's obviously gutting for him. But let's hope it doesn't stagnate his development too much.
Yeah, well, so Frank has been speaking in the press conference today as well, and he said on Bergvall that he's out. The injury looks bad, but exactly how much time he'll miss is to be confirmed. João Palhinha, he says, could be available, so that's another one in the midfield that we desperately need right now. He says Gallagher, Tell, Dragoshin and Bissouma are all available for selection again, as obviously they all missed out because they were not selected for the Champions League. And obviously there is another element as well where Pape Matar Sarr has returned to the club from his AFCON duties, and with Pape, he barely featured in the AFCON, so he should be raring to go, really. I don't know how much he's been drinking in Senegal with the celebrations and everything. And big up to Pape, because Senegal obviously won the AFCON. But with Bergvall going out in this game, we still have a few number of midfielders available to pick from.
Yeah, I think in the Premier League it's not a problem because we've got lots of options. When it comes to the Champions League, it's a bit more tricky because no Gallagher, no Basuma, so they're going to be unavailable. So when it comes to the Frankfurt game, maybe it's a case of for Paulinho, if it's touch and go for him for Burnley, probably best keep him on ice and have him fully fit for the Frankfurt game on Tuesday because we're definitely going to need him in that game.
Yeah. Well, for that game you'll have Gray available, you have Paulinho available, you've got Sarr available. And Javi available in the 10.
Yeah,
so still a fair amount of.
I'm saying, but Paulinho is if you don't want to.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm saying
100%.
So yeah, it's good to have Sarr back as well. So in terms of midfield, it was obviously very dicey for the game against Dortmund, where we were forced to play Porro in that position. But hopefully we don't have that problem moving forward. Touch wood. Caveating that with any future injuries. But yeah, that's good. Paulinho, obviously, he picked up a knock in training, so we're going to need him again as a senior midfielder. I do wonder if Basuma gets more minutes on Saturday, because I thought he played pretty well against West Ham. And if Paulinho is not fit and we do keep him on ice, we're going to need a senior midfielder in there, and he's probably the one, you would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about what midfield three I'd like to see against Burnley. I think the midfield three I'd like to see is probably Basuma, Gallagher, Javi. I think that's the three I'd like to see.
Me too. I've got a feeling, does he give Javi a rest with these wheels or his ankle? He said he is available, by the way, for Saturday. Him, Dom, and
Gray.
So that's really good news. But we did see pictures of Javi's ankle after the game. It looked battered. We know he played through the pain. Could he do with maybe being on the bench and coming on if need be, rather than starting him? We also know, or there was theorised that, reported, that he was going to start Gray in the 10, Gallagher in the 10 before Paulinho got injured against West Ham. So if that was his feeling, maybe he goes with it in this game against Burnley. It's a more physical game as well. Gets Basuma and Gray in the midfield, or Sarr in there as well, and then keeps Javi on ice for the Frankfurt game if we don't want to risk his ankle.
Yeah, I do get that situation, but for me, I feel like we need a real technician in the 10, someone that can pick a lock, and I don't think Gallagher's that guy. And I know, like, in certain games, Gallagher in the 10 will really work with his energy and work rate and pressing abilities. But I generally believe in this game, more than most, we're going to really need Javi.
I agree, but I'm just thinking about where Frank's head might be at.
When we play Man City in a week or so, I wouldn't mind seeing Gallagher in the 10 in that game. I really wouldn't, because I think that would be really valuable to have someone like that. And maybe even play Javi a bit deeper. I really would not mind that whatsoever. But yeah, I think in this game, I really hope Frank sees the value of having Javi in the starting lineup, because he was so good. I just want him to build on that momentum as well.
I agree. But we'll have to wait and see what happens on Saturday. A few selection headaches, funnily enough, given that the injury crisis. But thankfully, with players back from the Champions League and some players returning, hopefully it's easing a bit.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the injury report as it stands. So this is on premierinjuries.com, and it says Maddison due back 1st of June, Bentancur due back 2nd of May, Kudus due back 11th of April, Ben Davis due back 11th of April, Lucas Bergvall due back 11th of April, Richarlison, it says 22nd of February, but I think they're being a bit...
It was a 2-month injury, wasn't it?
Wasn't it 3? 2 to 3, wasn't it?
8 weeks, I think.
Okay, so that might be true. Paulinho, they're saying he's going to have a late fitness test. Decky, no return date.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with Decky, do we?
So, yeah, it's not looking good on that front. Like, how valuable would it be to have Decky and Maddison available for us right now? Like, it's just such a blow. You might even think about it, with all the reports of Thomas Frank and everything, might not even be able to train once with him, which is crazy.
It's we'll see. He might not ever manage him, which is nuts. But it was also asked about, is this the worst injury crisis he's ever had? He said it must be close to my 3rd year in the Premier League with Brentford. I also had a horrendous year which impacted massively the Premier League season. Unfortunately, this is definitely close. The Bergvall one, how unlucky is that with contact injuries? There was João, Kudus, some of them. It's like, what is happening here? Seems like we are cursed or something like that. But injuries are a part of football. Next thing we can look at is how we can speed up the return of play. Yeah, I remember looking at that when we were obviously discussing alternatives to Ange, and we were looking at Frank, and he had that one season he did finish 16th when they were injury ravaged.
Yeah,
but that's obviously we've overlooked that. Whether We think Frank. Look, I feel like I don't blame Frank. I think for the injuries. I think a lot of them obviously he has over, like people like Kudus. He's overplayed Bentancur. But I think when it's a situation like this, I think the problem is once you get injuries, it leads to more injuries because you're overplaying the players who are currently fit. And I think that's the situation we're in now. I think it was a situation we were in last season as well. I think I don't know what you do about it. How can we get on top of this? Because it's a thing that's happening every single season now, and it seems to be getting worse season on season. So what are the medical staff doing? Are they making the right diagnoses? Are they doing the right things to keep players fit? Because at the moment, it just seems as though we're in a never-ending cycle. And haven't we refreshed the medical staff? And, nothing seems to be changing. I don't know what could possibly be the cause of it in terms of a higher up point of view. Are they hiring the right people? Who are they hiring for their medical team? Because they keep hiring people and we keep being in this. Is it just luck? Is that just football? Is that just what it is? I don't know. It's hard to say what is causing this.
It can't be just luck. Like, on the face of it, it looks like it, but it can't be when it just keeps happening every season. Like, even in Ange's first season, we had major injuries. Second season, major injuries. It got worse. Now it's even worse. You know what I mean? It just seems to be getting worse and worse every single season. And yeah, we were told Scott Munn regenerated the whole physio and medical department. We were told that was one of the reasons why he was sacked, because he did it, in not such a great way. We've heard that new guys have come in this year, and we've even heard further that they're looking to regenerate it even further. So, I mean, it just seems like a never-ending regeneration of our medical team and medical staff, which is just crazy. In terms of, like, blaming the managers and stuff like that, I do think Ange had a big part to play in some of the injuries last season, like I kept mentioning. And I do think Frank has a part to play in some of the injuries this season as well. But I think the main culprits have got to be the medical staff. It's got to be like it just seems like they're incompetent. Like, how can you let Bergvall come back on the pitch? How can you let Kudus come back, Kulusevski come back on the pitch? It's just like look, I'm not a medical expert or anything like that, but from someone with little knowledge of medical, it just seems like sheer incompetence.
I mean, for it to happen more than once in the last 6 months, where someone's got a serious injury and they're allowed to carry on, who knows if it made it worse or not? I've got no idea, but that just seems crazy to me. That's happened, but it's happened now more than once, and yeah, I mean, and it's also happened many times where they've underdiagnosed a player where they think it's not a big issue, and then it turns out it's a very big issue.
Yeah.
When they really get to grips with it. So there's definitely something going on with this medical team. We also know that around football at the moment, it's a very serious problem with many clubs. It's not just Tottenham, but I think we seem to be getting it worse than anyone. It seems to me every single season that it's like we're specifically the worst team. I think this is going to be 2 seasons in a row. I think where we've got the most days out for any players from injuries. So yeah, it's hard to say that we couldn't be doing things better or in a different way. But here we are. Maybe we are just cursed.
Yeah, and as they say, here we go again with the injuries. So it's just so frustrating, man. All right, well, that's the injury situation. Let's move on to a transfer update, because there's been a lot of rumours doing the rounds over the past 24 hours. And we're going to start off talking about that goalkeeping situation, as Paul O'Keefe says that talks are now taking place between Tottenham and West Ham for Mads Hermansson. Look, West Ham signed him in the summer. He played about 2 games. He was terrible. And they dropped him and went back for Areola. The new manager has come in to West Ham, and he hasn't given Hermansson a chance. He's gone straight to Areola.
He was so bad, Fabianski had to come out of retirement to come back into West Ham after they released him. So that's how bad he was.
I understand the need to loan out Kinski. I completely understand that, and I back that. But why not just look for a better goalkeeper than Mads Hermansson?
I think, to be honest, short term, it's only going to be for 6 months. Hopefully he doesn't play. I think it's hard to find a keeper to be number 2 right now. I don't have a massive issue. Also, something to consider that apparently Frank and Lang know him well. Danish connection there. So apparently that's something that Frank rates him highly. That's what Paul O'Keefe was saying. So if that's the case, for me, I don't have a massive issue with it. It's not like I'm not delighted with it in a perfect world.
You'll have a problem with it if Vicario gets injured. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's true. Look, in a perfect world, I want someone better, but if it means Kinski gets time at number 1 for West Ham, I'm willing to take that risk, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
But then again, another issue though that could crop up is the fact that we only get a certain amount of changes in the Champions League squad. So wasting one with
I wouldn't bring him in. I wouldn't bring him into the Champions League squad.
Well, then you're obviously leaving just Austin.
Yeah, I'll go with Austin.
And go to. I don't think they would do that. They would bring him in, or maybe they weren't. They didn't bring in Kinski last year, I remember. So maybe that's something. But I think they probably will. And wasting one of the changes on him, if we do sign more players that need to come in, Gallagher's already one that has to come in. Any of the Solanke, is he going to come back if he's still here? There's a few different problems that we're going to have there if we have to make too many changes.
I think it'll be ridiculous to bring him into the Champions League squad because the 2 you mentioned, that's 2 already. What if we bring in Sousa? He's going to have to be put in. So that's 4. That's 3.
I think you only get 3.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, and if we sign someone else, that's too many players to bring in. So if you're going to bring in Tell, you're going to bring in Gallagher, you're going to bring in Sousa. Is there any more? Bissouma potentially could be brought in as well. So that's 4 players without even the goalkeeper. So I would be massively against bringing in the goalkeeper.
But then again, if the problem is if Vicario does get injured and we don't have him involved, then that means we'll only have Austin and no sub-keeper.
Yeah,
unless you bring in someone from the academy. I don't know.
Who's our other keeper?
Whiteman
Luca Gunter.
There, he was gone. Whiteman's
be
there.
Luca Gunter, wouldn't it? Sub.
Luca Gunter.
No, he's on loan.
Yeah, he's on loan.
So who's the under 21 keeper?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, whoever it is, it'll be him. Maybe it's Blake Iro. But yeah, not a great situation anyway. And people saying we need to keep a spot for Decky, but I don't even think Decky's going to make it.
I don't know if you can, yeah.
All right, well, that's the Hermansen situation. In terms of Somerville, Jacob Steinberg says that West Ham do not plan to sell Somerville to Tottenham this month and currently are relaxed about the situation. However, a very high bid from Spurs could test their stance and potentially force West Ham to reconsider before the window closes. Ben Jacobs says that suggestions of a bid being prepared for Somerville is premature and there was only an inquiry by Tottenham and West Ham said no. And Paul O'Keefe said it's very unlikely that West Ham sell in January, one for the summer if they get relegated. And I don't understand it as one for the summer. Because surely if we're going for the summer, we'll be going for someone of higher quality. I get it if it was like a short-term deal from now until the end of the season, from our perspective, not from West Ham's perspective. I kind of get it. But surely in the summer, we'll be going for someone of higher quality.
You'd like to think so, unless in the summer we're not in Europe and we're limited with who we could attract. But even then, you would like to think so we can attract someone better than Somerville. It doesn't make sense to me, even if it's a cut price deal or whatever it is. I think Somerville, I think there is obviously a talented player in there and he's probably underperforming to a worse standard than what he's probably capable of. And I think he's probably capable of more. But at the end of the day, this is a player who's got 2 goals in the last 2 years. In the last 18 months, sorry. Last season, he got 2 goal contributions in the whole season. This season, he's only got his first goal against us. And yes, he did look electric against us. That's true. But I wouldn't go signing him on any sort of 3-4 year deal with spending 25 million because we're just going to be stuck with him. And is he any better than Tell or Odebear? Potentially wise anyway. I don't think so. It doesn't make any sense to me.
But what are we doing here? We signed Kudus in the summer. We were heavily linked with Lucas Paquetá a few weeks ago. David Ornstein says that Spurs, contacted West Ham to try and get Lucas Paquetá. We're going for Somerville. Hermansen. We're going for Hermansen. What are we doing here? Seriously.
We're turning into West Ham.
It's madness. West Ham, and this is literally the worst West Ham team we've seen in the last few years.
Apparently we're desperate to join them.
What is going on at this football club? Seriously.
It's nuts. I don't know why we're so focused on... I guess, look, we smell blood, obviously, with West Ham. We're trying to poach some of their best players, but it's just too much. Just come on. We don't need to be turning into West Ham 2.0. It's a bit ridiculous.
It is massively ridiculous. This ENIC 2.0, you're turning into West Ham 2.0.
Get Sullivan in.
Jesus Christ.
Sullivan and Brady, get them in.
This is just madness. It really is. If I told you in the summer when Daniel Levy stepped down, this is going to be our targets in January transfer window, you'd be like, oh my God, what are we doing here? And here we are. All right, next up, this is an interesting one from Ben Jacobs. Says that Tottenham are set to make an offer for Bournemouth defender Marcos Senesi. The deal could be in the works for about 35 million euros, with the Argentine putting in a transfer request at Bournemouth for this January transfer window. We know he's got 6 months left on his deal. 35 million euros does seem a bit steep for someone that's got 6 months left on his deal. I think he's a top quality player. I really like him, and I think he's definitely going to move up after moving to Bournemouth, after leaving Bournemouth. I would like to see him at the club, to be honest. I think he would be a nice little rotation option for Mickey van der Ven, left centre-back. He's got great passing ability. If we're looking to play out the back, I think he's a really good option to have. However, 35 million for 6 months left, that seems crazy to me.
Yeah, but I was reading some people reporting that Ben Jacobs was reporting that he made a bid, but he actually never said that. He said it's going to be one for the summer. But I would take him on a cut price deal now if we can, but it's not like something I'm desperate for. Obviously, we have cover just about at the moment. I like Senesi a lot. Obviously, he's recovered from a serious injury that he had last season, and he's come back into the team and been pretty good, albeit Bournemouth have suffered and they've lost Hysand, Zabriani. So that's obviously affected them massively. But Senesi's been one of the ones who stepped up in a big way, and he's obviously used to playing an attacking team. I've seen as well, he is second in the league for completed long passes, so I think I love him. And I think he's obviously a good ball player. He's left-footed as well, that really helps. And I think he's done really well since recovering from his ACL. So I think, yeah, I would look at him. I think he'd be really good depth for us, really good depth. I think you'd find it hard to get someone better than Senesi.
Yeah, for the role that we're looking to fill.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. 28 years old. I thought he was a bit younger than that, to be fair, but still, I'll definitely look to bring him in. Do you think he's actually looking to move this January, or will he look to play out the season at Bournemouth? And
put a transfer request. So.
Yeah, but I don't understand that, because if he waits till the end of the season, he gets those big signing on fees, probably at bigger wages as well. So I probably would predict he stays there until the end of the season.
Yeah, I think so. But if there's a deal to be done, not for 35 million, that's what Guehi went for.
Yeah.
So that why would Senesi be the same price as that?
I think he's got to be, with 6 months left, about 15 million, something like that. And that would be a really good deal.
It's up to Bournemouth whether they want to take it.
Yeah. Another centre-back Spurs have been linked with via Ben Jacobs is... He says that Tottenham are keeping a very close eye on Como's Jacobo Ramon. Real Madrid do have a buyback clause, apparently, and other Premier League clubs are following the player too. I mean, I don't know much about him, but obviously I know Como under Cesc Fabregas are doing very well at this moment in time.
Yeah, and they play a certain brand of football which we would like Spurs to play. But again...
we would like Spurs to play.
Yeah, well, whether Frank does is another question. Look, I don't know too much about him, but... another player with the Real Madrid buyback clause. It seems like Como have a lot of those players, so whether he's gettable or not, another question.
Yeah, but according to Ben Jacobs, Spurs are closely following him. Now, Team Talk are reporting that Morgan Gibbs-White remains a top target for Tottenham this summer. It's believed that there's growing belief Nottingham Forest will finally sanction a sale due to financial difficulties. You reap what you sow, eh? Let's put in a derisory bid to Marinakis and see if he flinches. That's what I say.
Yeah, well, I don't think... It depends if it's a small... Look, I don't think we go back in for him, to be honest. We signed Gallagher. Gallagher's a pretty similar profile to Morgan Gibbs-White. I don't think you play them together. I guess maybe you could as like dual eights, but then you've got so many players.
He's a better passer though than Gallagher, isn't he?
I think they're similar, probably, but I don't think he is again, he's a better passer, but he's not a passing midfielder.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like that's his strength. His strengths are similar to Gallagher. Brilliant presser, real brilliant stamina and physicality, good in transitions, arrives late in the box, that kind of stuff. I think they're quite a similar profile, to be honest. Maybe I would say he's a better ball carrier than Gallagher, although Gallagher's not a bad one. Gibbs-White's probably better ahead of him. I actually think inside the box, I like Gallagher a bit more with his finishing ability than Gibbs-White. Yeah, passing, I think Gibbs-White has in transition is better, like playing through balls and stuff, but both of them, when you ask them to like pick locks and things like that, not really their game. To me, we have so many...
prefer Gibbs-White over Gallagher, no?
Yeah, Gibbs-White's probably a better player, but I think it's quite close. It's not a big gap between the both. And although I'd say maybe Gibbs-White is definitely more of a 10 than Gallagher is. Gallagher's more of an 8 than Gibbs-White is. But again, they probably both do their best work in the final third. You could probably argue. So it's very tight between both of them. Why spend big money on Gibbs-White when you've just got Gallagher in through the door? Wouldn't make sense to me. We've got so many of that profile. We've got Maddison and hopefully Decky returning at some point. You've got Xavi in there. I think that for me, that ship has sailed. Unless we're selling Sarr and Gray and Bergvall, all of them, then maybe get him in as well. But for me, it doesn't make sense. Squad planning point of view, we don't need Gibbs-White anymore.
Yeah. I mean, there is only one profile of midfield that we desperately need, isn't there? We need that sitter that can just pass and progress the ball up the pitch. We're just so desperate for someone like that. And yeah, that's not Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, I wouldn't ferociously complain if we got Gibbs-White because I'm a massive fan of him, albeit he's not having a good season this year, really. He's showed flashes in a few games and scored some good goals for them. But, yeah, he's not someone we desperately need, you're right. But would you complain if we signed him?
It would be similar to what I say about Gallagher in terms of, like, we don't really need him. Is he an upgrade on what we have? Yes. But from a squad planning point of view, I'll have some more questions and answers about what they see the squad, what exactly they think we need. And I think it'll probably cause problems. But look, I like him as a player. I just wouldn't sign him right now. It doesn't make sense to me to sign him.
Yeah. Well, this next one you might sign because Ben Jacobs is saying that Curtis Jones is of interest to Tottenham, but Liverpool are unlikely to want to do business in January, but maybe one for the summer. 24 years of age, playing a fair amount for Liverpool this season. Is he one in the summer that you would be willing to bring in?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's a really good midfielder. I think he's really underrated. Very technical, really good passer, progressive passer as well. Very good at breaking the lines and getting the ball forward. And I think he's the kind of fielder we need, to be honest. I really believe that. I really rate Curtis Jones, and I think he's done quite well for Liverpool. I don't know why they would sell him. I think he's quite good. So I don't know why they would be open to selling him, unless maybe they just think he's really upgradable. I really like him. I'm not saying he's perfect or one of the best in the world, but in terms of the level we're at right now and getting us back to closer to where we want to be, I think he's the kind of smart signing we should be making.
Yeah, like I said before, I'm not 100% convinced if Curtis Jones is the guy that we need to really catapult us back to where we want to go. He's a good player. I don't know. He's good, but I don't know if he's that level that we need. But again, like you said, can we even attract that level that we need, that we think we need anyway? So I think he's a player which will raise a few eyebrows with probably some of the fan base, and he might come in and surprise a few people. It could be that kind of player.
He's a good player. He plays regularly for Liverpool, and he's good. He played a lot last season as well. He has been shunted a bit at right back this season with their problems they've had there, but I thought he's done quite well. I've got no problems with him. I think he's a good player.
And last but not least, everyone's asking, where's Sousa? Where's Sousa? I've seen missing in action posters going around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium saying, where is this Sousa? Apparently he did his medical weeks ago. Where is he? Well, Ben Jacobs says that the Sousa deal is all done regarding medical and agreement. Visa is pending, which usually takes a while with young South American players. The deal is expected all to be done. So basically just waiting on his visa. Yeah,
and we obviously saw him at the West Ham game. He was in the stands. People were wondering, has he run a mile after he saw that game? And maybe that's the delay. Has he tried to renege the deal? But yeah, look, I've got no issue with it. I'm sure it's just going to be a matter of time before it's announced.
Yeah. So it's just if a case of a work permit, basically. That's just what we're waiting on at this moment in time.
There's one little thing here from ex-West Ham employees just tweeted saying Radu Dragusin is now a target for West Ham.
Bloody hell. What is going on with Spurs and West Ham?
We looks like we've kissed and made up, I think, with West Ham, it seems. We didn't do a deal with them since, Defoe? Was it Parker? Since Scott Parker.
Yeah, and then Kudus kind of broke the ice.
And now all of a sudden, all right, we're in business, people. It wasn't that bad.
What is going on, though? Why are we doing so much business or looking to do so much business as West Ham? It makes me feel a bit sick, to be honest.
Because they're not a rival with us. We don't really care.
It feels like I always look at that Chelsea and Arsenal situation and them doing so much business together and cringe a little bit. And now I'm seeing this and it's making me cringe even worse.
Yeah, but doing business with Chelsea and Arsenal is different with West Ham for us. They're our, little brother. You know what I mean? They
You say that, but they finished above us last season, and we're very close to them this season.
It doesn't matter.
And they just beat us as well.
Yeah, that's true. But there's still, the hate is more vociferous from one way than the other.
Yeah, it's true, but still, it's still a rival. They're still top 3 rivals for us.
It's not the same as Chelsea and Arsenal, though.
I don't know. I feel like Spurs and West Ham have a bigger rivalry than Arsenal and Chelsea.
I'm saying, yeah, that's fine. I'm saying it's not a bit. It's for us though. Doing business with Chelsea and Arsenal, it's not. It's different than West Ham.
Why is that?
For us,
Yeah, why?
because they're much bigger rivals.
Wait, who's much bigger rivals?
I'm saying for us to do business with Chelsea or Arsenal.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not talking about that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, we've done business with Chelsea in the past as well, but
Yeah. Chelsea and Arsenal don't even date each other that much.
yeah.
West Ham hate us, and we're just like an annoying fly. Piss off, trying to sting like a bee or something.
It's just, I just don't like it though. I really don't like it.
I don't like it in the sense that we're turning into West Ham. That's what I don't like, if we're signing too many of their players. But if they're going to sign some of our players we want to take off our hands, I don't really have an issue with it.
Yeah, look, I don't mind them taking like players that we want to get rid of. I don't really have a problem with it whatsoever. But why are we doing so much business with them? Like 1 or 2 here and there, but like it seems like we're trying to swap squads at this point. Like seriously, this is a bit ridiculous.
So Dragoshin, I wonder if that would be a loan deal or if that would be a permanent.
I imagine it.
Well, under Nuno.
Yeah, I imagine it being a loan move. Maybe a loan with an
Helping
option.
them stay up.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. Giving them a goalkeeper, give them a centre back. Anyone else we can give him?
See, must be. Should we not get any kickback here? Nothing happening. Maybe as they did us a solid by allowing us to get Kudus, and now we're like, okay, you can have some of our sniffle.
They did us. They did us a solid.
Yeah. They didn't have to accept the deal. A lot of people saying, "Oh, West Ham can never deal with Tottenham," and they did.
Apparently, they did have to accept the deal with the money that was on offer.
All that for the
Because
money.
of the financials, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying they could have waited for Chelsea or whatever. They didn't. They said, "All right, we'll deal with Tottenham."
Well, I heard like the situation of why they sold us Kudus at that specific time because they had something. They had a deadline to meet or something very close to the time, and the Chelsea bid never came in. That's the situation.
Well, at least it seems as though that has now, as you say, broken the ice, and it seems to open the floodgates to deals being done left, right, and centre at the moment. Well, to be fair, nothing's actually been done. It's just
a lot of rumours. Yeah.
But seems as though there's definitely
Who was that from? Paul O'Keefe.
That was ex.
Ex West Ham. Yeah.
West Ham
wow.
employee.
So still like reliable people.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying nothing's been done yet.
Yeah. So anyway, that is your Tottenham update. Spurs have definitely kissed and made up with West Ham, it seems, and doing a lot of negotiating together, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens, and obviously we'll bring you the news first here on We Are Tottenham TV. Let's move on, because we've got some other rumours to talk about regarding the manager situation. So with the manager situation, we know Thomas Frank's on thin ice at this moment in time. The Dortmund win has seemingly bought him a bit more time, whether you like it or not. And there's been murmurings from Ben Jacobs regarding who our next manager could be, and he says Pochettino wants to come back to the Premier League and would jump at the chance to do so. He is very interested in a return to Tottenham, but after the World Cup. Don't rule out Pochettino, but don't rule out another name should Tottenham make a change from Thomas Frank mid-season. Pochettino is of interest to the Tottenham board and could agree to join post-World Cup with an interim covering until the US national team duties conclude. I mean, this is obviously pipes up every so often, every time Spurs are looking for a new manager, but I feel like this time it could be different to other times, because you're looking at the new ownership structure, want to make a statement. You're looking at who the decision makers are in that boardroom. Not many of them are football people. And I just feel they're just saying, you know what? Let's wait till the end. Let's try and either ride it out with Frank till the end of the season, get an interim in, and if it gets too bad, till the end of the season, and let's make a move to try and get some fans on board and bring back Pochettino, who in their minds is a massive fan favourite. And look, he is a massive fan favourite, but I feel like sentiment in the fan base are very mixed on this.
Yeah, I feel like if he is appointed, it's obviously going to be wildly popular if that happens. Right now, while we're in the who should we go next? What is next for Tottenham? I think rightly people are voicing a bit of concern about going back to Pochettino right now, given that it hasn't gone swimmingly for him over the past few years. Is his way of playing in the current cycle of what's doing well in modern football and the way modern football is going? Is Pochettino behind the times? Is he still the manager he was when he was kind of revolutionary? Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's going to get appointed and you're going to start seeing the hashtag no to Pochettino trend or anything like that. People are going to get behind him. They love him. He's a legend here. He's obviously everyone holds Pochettino very closely to their heart. So once that decision is made, I think everyone's fully on board. But right now it is split, and I think rightly so. I think there are definitely question marks about, are we just going back on nostalgia and sentiment, or is this actually the right move we should be making to move this club forward and get us competitive again? Now, I don't think Poch is a bad manager at all. I think he's a great manager, and I think he can come in and maybe do well. But whether my only reservation of him is he what he was once seen among the elite managers in the Premier League. Does he come in with that same status? Is he still one of the elites? I don't know, to be honest.
He's going to have to come in, and he's got a point to prove, in my opinion, because since leaving Tottenham, I think the general sentiment was he's going to go on and he's going to be carry on that upward trajectory and become an unbelievable manager and win it all and all that kind of stuff. Because what he did with Tottenham, he took a Tottenham team that was, not great, and he nourished a lot of players from the academy, built an unbelievable team with a limited budget, and he got us fighting for league titles, and he got us to a Champions League final. Like, that's unheard of as a Tottenham manager. So he did an unbelievable job at Tottenham. But ever since leaving Tottenham, he's gone to PSG. Obviously, he went into a very bad situation at PSG. I say a bad situation, but he had a front three of like Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
But you see, like in Madrid now, how hard it is to deal with that.
Absolutely, and it took for Luis Enrique to come in and get rid of the kind of old guard and bring in fresh faces and young and hungry players. So, but to fail to win a league with that PSG team has got to be a blot on his career, that's for sure. Because he did fail to win the league. Obviously, he won the league in the next season and then left the club. He'd gone into Chelsea after that, and a really horrible first half of the season. But I felt like in the second half of the season, he actually went on really good form, and he ended the season quite well. And then they obviously decided to go their separate ways, and disagreements at boardroom level and all that kind of stuff. And now he's taken the US national team job. It's taken him a while to get to grips with things there, but it seems like they might be on a bit of an upward trajectory now. But I always felt like he's not really an international manager. He needs time on the training ground. He needs to be in with his players in, day out, and really drum in his philosophy and tactics to them. I think it will be... I think he'll come, like I said, he'll come in with a point to prove, and I think it'll be a decent appointment for Spurs, and I think he can get us to a certain level. But he'll need the backing, obviously. That's what it all comes down to.
I guess the question for me is, can he get us back to where we were under him before? I don't know, but can he get us back to a higher level than now?
For sure,
and get us back in Europe, maybe challenging for top four as well. I think he can do that, and I think he will unite the fan base. Everyone will be on board. Everyone's going to get behind him, and everyone's going to be united with him. And I'm sure there'll be games where we're pressing the shit out of teams, and there's free flowing football. We're looking great, but as I've said, football has maybe moved on a bit since he was last here. So whether he's that elite level coach that he was when he was here last time, I don't know. I feel like these rumours as well remind me of like when the Gareth Bale rumours, like every summer we'd hear rumours about Gareth Bale and it was like never really happening, and we got him bit too late when I know it was decent when he came, but it wasn't quite the Bale that we sold, was he? If we're being honest, and maybe it's a similar state.
Yeah, but also with Pochettino, it's not like he's an old manager.
No, true.
You know what I mean? He's not old. He's still young in terms of
I guess as managers go. I guess the question is, has he adapted his style? Has he now got more strings to his bow than he did at Tottenham? Because I think that's what's kind of needed here. So. Look, obviously, if right now we're such a mess, we're such a low, that the thought of Pochettino coming in definitely excites me. And I'm not against it, but I'm also like, he's not my number one choice. But also I do feel like if it doesn't happen now, it probably won't ever happen. I feel like this is the time, because I feel like if it doesn't happen now, in years down the line, are we going to turn to Poch again? I feel like there's kind of, the timing is right now. He's going to be leaving the national team in the summer. if we're looking to make a change at that point, the timing aligns. Whereas before we've wanted it and he's wanted it, but the timing hasn't quite lined up. He's at a PSG job he's not happy with, and we sack a manager mid-season. We haven't been able to get him out of PSG and all these kind of things. And right now it feels like the timing is there, and I feel like we've always wanted him to get a second crack, and I feel like if he doesn't get it now, it might never happen.
Yeah, potentially. It's more of an emotional decision than an actual pure footballing decision. Let's be real. And I think ENIC see this as a clear, quick win to bring a few fans on board.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
It's like a decision they don't have to think much about in a way. It's like he's a good manager. Everyone loves him. He wants a second crack of the whip. He is a good manager willing to come, which we don't know about any other manager.
And he obviously loves the club.
Yeah, and he would love to come back. What manager on his level is right now desperate to come to Tottenham? There's not many, to be honest. So that's obviously something in his favour and something to definitely consider when getting that new manager. But there's definitely smack of a lack of creativity, a lack of forward thinking from this ownership. Let's just go back to the manager who we last were good with, basically. And that's like all they know is how to be good. Oh, okay, back with Poch because we were good then, so maybe he can make us good again.
It'll be quite crazy the way it works out as well, because if Poch was to come back this summer, it will be the same summer that the last Pochettino player would have played for the club, because Ben Davies was the first player he signed and he's the last player left from that era. And he'll be leaving the club this summer, and it'll kind of gone all in full circle, wouldn't it? Poch would have left, his squad would have been weaned out slowly, and then as soon as the last player goes, Poch comes back.
Do we have a squad for Pochball?
I think so.
I don't see why not. Yeah,
I think so. And I think
young attackers might.
Yeah, and I think he's got a lot of young players which he can mould in his image as well.
He's got Jan and Toby replaced by Romero van der Ven. That fits quite pretty well. I think a Doggy in the Rose role. I mean, Porr and Walker are very different fullbacks, but maybe maybe Spence could do that role instead. Maybe that would be Spence's role. But then again, is Pochball still something that's definitely going to work? Who knows? Maybe you'd have to adapt it a bit. But
we did see it work second half of the season at Chelsea, though.
Yeah, they had a good end to the season.
We did see it work. So, as much as football's moved on and the Premier League's moved on, I still think it can work. I really do still think it can work. But also, you got to look at that when Poch was our manager and we were at the very top. Like, we were thriving in a moment in time in the Premier League, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because many of the top clubs were going through transitional periods at that time. Man City were in one, Liverpool were in one, Arsenal were in one. All the top clubs, Chelsea were up and down in that period. So he's going to be fighting against much bigger forces. That's the reality.
Yeah, I agree. And it's going to be a much tougher job second time round. But he's also going to have more money to be backed with and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I think if you offered it to me right now, I think I would take it, because right now we're desperate, and we're desperate for something, to feel something. Is it, like, if you're asking me, is this the best appointment we could make? Probably not. I think there's probably better appointments out there. But whether it's possible to make those best appointments, it's also another question. So I think Poch might be the best we can get right now, to be honest. That's also a case for that.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. And it'll just be like exciting though, wouldn't it, for Poch to return to the club? And I think it'll just gather a bit of at least the fans can get behind something for once.
Yeah, true.
All right, and another managerial one from Ben Jacobs says there is an appreciation for Xabi Alonso in the Tottenham hierarchy. Xabi is said to be keen to be the next Liverpool manager, but he wants to jump straight back into management, and Arne Slot currently has the backing of the Liverpool board.
Yeah, look, to be fair, for all the talk of Arne Slot, I mean, he is currently apparently on the longest unbeaten run in Europe's top 5 leagues out of anyone in 13.
What, in the league?
No, in all competitions.
Really?
13 games unbeaten, which no one at the moment has gone a longer unbeaten run. There's not really any serious suggestion he's getting sacked right now. He did win the league last season, so there are reasons to stick with him, with the season of transition. If the messaging is like he's being backed, where else would Alonso turn? I guess because obviously he's not
Man U.
Could he go to United? Would United? I guess I guess United would have him, surely. But he's a legend of one of their rival clubs. So whether that plays on their mind. If Tottenham just go all out for him, offer big money, tell him, look, you can have a budget, you're going to have full control, we're going to back you, we're going to have full belief in you. There's a project here which you could be central to. And there is definitely a challenge, but you're a top manager who loves a challenge. Look, we do in Leverkusen, a team who weren't really going anywhere and went unbeaten in the season, won the league. Incredible. One of the best managerial jobs in recent years, you'd have to say. Could he be swayed by that? Who knows? Because I think apart from Liverpool, what other jobs is it? Maybe Juve?
Man City.
Okay, the City job could be opening. But then apparently they want Maresca. But yeah, I guess Alonso.
If Alonso's available, they'll go all hell for leather to get him, in my opinion.
Could be the City job opening up soon. Just get him while you can, if you can. That's what I would try and do.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's easier said than done. You have to convince him. But I think right now, to ask him what number you want on that check and put it down, and that's it.
Not even what number you want on that check. How much percentage of the club do you want?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think if there's any sort of inkling that Xabi Alonso would be slightly open to joining Tottenham, you got to do everything that you can to bring him to the club, because he is a manager that you can pin your hopes on. He's a manager that, it's not going back to your ex. It's not those kind of fears about has he moved on with the game. He is the game right now. You know what I mean? He is like head and shoulders on top of the game. He's at the forefront of the game. So if you can get someone like Xabi Alonso, I think it's just fanciful thinking. I don't think there's a chance of bringing out Xabi Alonso to Tottenham.
So if he doesn't want to wait, we're the only option, unless he goes to United. But we're one of the only options, let's say.
Yeah, but look, there's a big chance that the Man City job comes available this summer.
Yeah.
So. Look, I do think he'll wait till the summer and see what's available. I think that's what's going to happen.
Wait. That's what Ben Jacobs saying.
Yeah, but he is saying that. Doesn't want to wait too long.
Too long.
He wants to jump straight back into management, he's saying.
Jump in, mate.
We've got a manager.
Dive in with... don't worry about Frank. He can be your assistant. Don't worry about him. We don't have to sack him. Frank can be your assistant.
Yeah, but look, I think Spurs should move heaven and earth to try and bring Xabi Alonso to the club.
Put it this way, I know even though we still have Frank, just put the feelers out. That's what I would be doing at the very minimum. Ask him, is there any opportunity you might be interested if Frank was to go? I'd definitely be putting the feelers out.
And if he says, yeah, there's like a 1%, all right, see you later, Frank.
Get him gone. Frank, we're going to need you to lose to Burnley.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the manager situation. Let us know your thoughts about Pochettino. Would you like to see him return to the club? And do you think there is any chance in hell that Xabi Alonso would be willing to join Tottenham Hotspur as well? We're going to finish off talking about the Champions League group phase. We know it's all said and done now in game week 6. Spurs sit... Sorry, game week 7. Oh, yeah, game week 7. Yeah. So we're sitting, what, 5th in the groups?
We are currently sitting 5th. Liverpool... overtook us yesterday. We were sitting in 4th before, but yeah, 5th, 14 points on the table at the moment. Incredibly, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams on 13 points, separated by goal difference, which is nuts how tight that table is. Yeah, we're sitting on in 5th at the moment. So in a good position, strong position.
So we play Frankfurt away next week in our final game of the group stage. Frankfurt lost to Karabag last night, so they are out. They can't qualify by any means to the next round.
Dead rubber for them.
It's a complete dead rubber. You'd imagine they'd probably rest a few players looking forward to the Bundesliga. Apparently they've got no fit number 9 either. I mean, this is just a classic case of a prescription by Dr. Tottenham, but less said about that, the better, to be honest. Let's have a look at, what teams can actually overtake us, because I was actually looking at this last night, and a lot of the teams below us fighting are actually playing each other.
Yeah, so anyone from PSG to Dortmund are capable of overtaking us, because Dortmund are on 11. So if we were to lose by any significant margin and they win, they could go above some goal difference. So 16th to 5th to 6th can all overtake us. So there's quite a lot of teams still. So I think it's fair to say we have to win to guarantee it. I think a draw will not be enough. A draw will be enough to take us above Dortmund, but then after that it's only Juve Juve and above can still overtake us with significant wins. But there are some games against each other. So Paris, PSG, and Newcastle are playing against each other.
Yeah.
I think Inter
And Dortmund.
Inter and Dortmund are playing against each other. So those two already. And so already, so out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, out of the 11 teams that can play against, that can be above us, already 4 of them are playing against each other. So only really 7 of them can be above us with a loss. And that means we have to finish above 3 of those teams. And I think I was looking at the fixture list. Barca have a pretty easy game. City have a pretty easy game. Atalanta have a pretty easy game.
Yeah, City are at home to Galatasaray. I mean, Galatasaray on their day can do something, let's be honest.
Yeah, true. And City just lost to Boda, so who knows. But you still expect them to win.
Yeah. Barca got Copenhagen.
They're going to win that. Atalanta have Karabag, do they?
Atalanta. Who do Atalanta have? No, Liverpool have Karabag.
USG, they have Union Saint-Gilloise.
Yeah.
Juventus have Monaco away.
Yeah.
Sporting
have Bilbao away.
Bilbao, not an easy game, but also winnable. And Chelsea have Napoli away.
Yeah.
So all the teams that we will hope to drop points, I think more than 3 have pretty winnable games. So we're definitely going to have to win. I think a draw is not going to be enough to get in that top 8. What's interesting at the moment, when you're looking at, it's obviously subject to lots of change. At the moment, we are currently 5th. That means we go straight to the knockouts, and that means we're going to play the winner of either Monaco, PSV, Man City, or Atletico Madrid, which is so at the moment we actually could be playing Man City in a knockout, or Atletico Madrid, or Monaco, or PSV, depending on who wins the knockout. But that's obviously subject to much change depending on where we land and where everyone else lands on game week 8. So we'll see. But it's all predetermined at the moment. But if it was Man City, would you fancy us in a round 16 against Man City? We've done it before. Well, actually, it was a quarter-final last time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quarter-final last time. I mean, I fancy them more than Atletico. Obviously, I prefer Monaco.
Although they nearly battered us, didn't they?
They did nearly batter us. But, yeah, look, Man City will be a very tough tie. We've shown that we can beat them already, even this season. Yeah, look, it's hard to talk about that because it's all going to change after the next game week, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So...
yeah, it's going to be big. But it does give us surely a leg up that Frankfurt out and they've got nothing to play for, albeit sometimes, as you said before, when teams are got the pressure off them, they can start playing more freely.
And also another element to it is that they're going to have a new manager by then, probably.
He's going to want to,
and it could be his first game in charge, or his second game, whatever. If they can bring him before the weekend, it will be his second game in charge. So whoever plays that game, they know that they're fighting for their futures. So they could have that kind of extra element to it as well.
But it's crazy to think about in the Champions League, all 6 teams are currently in the top 11. 5 of our teams are in the top 8.
Yeah.
And for all the talk of, it's a bad Premier League and the quality is so low, look how well we're absolutely tearing the Champions League apart.
Yeah, I don't buy into that narrative that it's a bad Premier League. I think it's a brilliant Premier League, and I think just the average quality of the league has just risen so much. You look at Arsenal, you look at the ones going for the title, and I think maybe the quality has decreased in terms of the better teams, but the average quality in the league, I think, has massively increased, in my opinion. And you're looking at English teams against La Liga teams so far this season. English teams have wiped the floor with them. You look at English teams against Bundesliga teams, English teams have wiped the floor with them, So you even look at Arsenal resting a few players going away to the San Siro. They wipe the floor with them.
Winning, yeah.
So the Premier League is the strongest league in the world, or definitely in Europe, by far.
Yeah.
By far.
I think it's showing it. It's because they're dominating this Champions League.
You even look at last season, man, the Europa League. Manchester United and Spurs was 16th and 17th or 15th and 17th, whatever it may be, and they were the 2 in the final.
The only team currently, English team, not in the top 8 is Man City, and they're probably going to finish in the top 8.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that 6 of the 8 teams are going to be in the top 8.
Yeah.
Come the end of it.
Yeah, and it's crazy just Spurs are there, because Spurs, obviously the worst performing side out of anyone in the Champions League. We finished 17th last season.
Yeah, 14th at the moment.
We're 14th at the moment, and we're 5th in the Champions League group.
Which is nuts. I don't know how we're so high up, but I think it's a mixture of a couple of lucky draws maybe. So maybe we should really be around 14th rather than 5th, because we got those draws against Boda and Monaco, which we did not deserve. But also a case of we have had a very lucky draw, haven't we? Especially at home. The likes of Villarreal were currently sitting on 1 point. Slavia.
Villarreal are third in the La Liga.
I know, which is weird about why they're doing so bad in the Champions League, but they are. They're 35th on 1 point. Haven't won a game, lost 6 and drawn 1. Slavia are at home. They're currently near the bottom. We've also had, what was the other home game we had? Slavia, Dortmund. Dortmund was a good win, to be fair. But we've kind of just had a kind draw, and maybe that's why we're so far up. And to be fair, it's what we predicted. If we do beat Frankfurt, that's 17 points. That's the points total we predicted before, isn't it? And I think it's probably going to plan. It's a weird way of going about it, but
yeah,
it's probably gone to plan in terms of how many points we could get if we go and do the job against Frankfurt.
Well, you say a weird way of going about it, but it's probably gone as most people expected, really. We've done really well at home against kind of average opposition,
I guess
bar
that's
Dortmund.
true, yeah.
And in away games, we've kind of struggled a little bit.
Probably swap a draw for Dortmund with one of the draws
We'll probably with a win in Bodo or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But look at Bodo. They just played Man City off the park in Bodo.
That's also another thing. A lot of people say, oh, Bodo's such an easy place to go, such an awful team. And
Prague gave Barcelona a really good game last night as well.
Prague, yeah, they won 4-2. Yeah. But they still end up losing.
Yeah, but still, you're talking about Barcelona here. They were, 1-0 up, and then they got another one back. So we made a bit of light work of the Copenhagen and the Prague games, and we all fully expected it. But they've also given a few teams trouble in the Champions League this season. Copenhagen scored 2 against Dortmund.
Yeah, look, Champions League has been definitely offered a bit of respite for us. I think a lot of it is to do with the physicality more than anything. I think technically these sides are great, but I think the Premier League is such a physical behemoth. Yeah. I think everyone is upping their physicality. So even the average teams and the lower teams, which is why West Ham has struggled so much this season in the Premier League, because of that lack of physicality, I feel. And that's a clear weakness in their game. And I think even the weaker teams in the Premier League completely outmuscle a lot of other European teams. So when we play these teams like Slavia and Copenhagen and these other teams, I think we just completely have so much strength over them, overpower them. That's the term I'm looking for. I think we just overpower these teams. They can't live with us.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at like the other European competitions, see if the English teams are dominating there. I mean, Aston Villa are level on points with Lyon at the top. Nottingham Forest not doing too well, but they've got an opportunity to still finish in the top 8.
I know Palace finished outside the top 8.
And in the Conference League, is it only Palace in there?
Yeah.
So Palace, they can still finish in the top 8.
No, it's finished.
Oh, is it finished? Is it not 7? Oh, there's only 6 games.
Yeah, I believe it's only 6.
Oh, okay, so they finished 10th.
Yeah, they finished outside the top 8.
Yeah. It's mainly the Champions League, but I guess there are more English teams in the Champions League than there are in any other European competition. But yeah, do you think that we'll win next week, or is it going to be another one of those classic Dr. Tottenham showings?
I think we will win, but who knows? I think Frankfurt are also a kind of team we like to play against. They're so open at the back, and they're very like. They're like basketball games, a lot of the Frankfurt games. So there was, against Karabag, they lost 3-2, they were 2-1 up and ended up losing at the end. I think those are the kind of teams that we would like to play against. And I think because they've got nothing to lose, they're going to try and win. They're not going to settle for a draw. They're just going to try and win the game. I think that'll suit us as well. So I think we'll probably win. But it's still one of those things where the pressure is going to be on, and I hope the pressure doesn't get to them. Because I think top 8 is important for us.
Yeah, it is. And if we draw and end up on 15 points, how likely it is? It's probably unlikely still to go through. We have to win, saying.
If we draw still from Juve up, well, if we say we've got a better goal difference than these two teams, Inter and Juve, but we only have a couple of goals. So if they win by more than 2 or more goals, they can finish above us. Then, but if any 3, sorry, they need 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 out of 8 teams need to be finishing above us if we get a point. And if all of them win, if 3 of those win, they'll be above us. Or 4 of them, sorry.
Yeah.
If 4 of those teams win, they'll be above us. And I think Atlanta are probably going to win. Atletico are probably going to win. City are probably going to win. Sporting are probably going to win. Barca are probably going to win. And one of Paris and Newcastle will win that. So I think, but Chelsea have Napoli away, so they might not win. But
Napoli have been terrible.
They have been terrible.
It's a big game for Napoli,
yeah,
I think, just to stay in the to stay in the tournament.
It's a massive game, so they might not win that. But yeah, I would say we need to win. I think a draw really leaves it in the balance. I would say there's more than a 50% chance we drop out the top 8 if we don't win.
All right, so big game next week against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League to seal our spot in the top 8. It's all in our own hands. If we win the game, we finish in the top 8. That's what it comes down to. So let's hope.
We didn't even finish as high as 3rd, I think.
Yeah.
So who do Liverpool, Madrid have?
Well, can't we finish 2nd? Or is Bayern too far ahead now?
Who are Liverpool playing? Liverpool have got Carabao, so they're probably going to win. Madrid are away to Benfica. Mourinho against his old team.
Yeah, that'll be a blockbuster.
That'll be good. And they need to win as well, I think, Benfica, to have a chance. But anyway, we're probably not going to finish above either of those, even if we win.
Yeah. You never know. Finish in the top 8, get a kind draw in the last 16 in the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
All of a sudden,
and at that point, you've been off the league and go for the Champions League.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't even care.
Do you think if it gets to that point, and let's say Frank's still in the job, like you just give Frank's going to be here till the end of the Champions League campaign, like kind of similar to Ange last season?
If we're doing well, if we're actually if he's giving us a shot, then I guess why not?
Because whatever we want to say about Frank, actually, when we've played decent opposition in the Champions League this season, I know we haven't won every game, but we've actually played well and looked a match for any team.
PSG twice in Dortmund, and we've done well in all those games. So
yeah,
I guess if he's getting us through ties, I think maybe you just got to give it.
Yeah,
and if I don't know, do we really think we're going to win it? It depends how bad I guess the league is going, but it was really tanking last season. I guess we stuck with it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm conflicted.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be better than an interim if he's actually shown he can do something against European opposition.
True. Interims have won it before with other teams, though.
Yeah, with Di Matteo. Should we bring in Di Matteo just for a few months?
Get Roberto in.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out next week. So we play on the Wednesday night, don't we? So we're going to be on the last night, so we'll know exactly all the...
I think everyone's on the same time.
Oh, is it everyone on the same night? All right, fair enough. So, yeah, it's going to be a big night, Wednesday night, last game of the Champions League group phase. That is the situation going into it. Eintracht Frankfurt are done and dusted in the Champions League, so... let's hope that situation.
It's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it's a bad thing, to be honest. I really think it's a bad thing, but let's hope it works in our favour this time. Look, we played bloody Dynamo Zagreb. Nobody thought there was a chance to lose that game. So, manager in jail, chairman in jail. What was the situation? I can't remember it.
Yeah, the manager was in jail. They were 2-0 up.
How? How does that even happen?
Even when you go back to, I remember we played Portsmouth in an FA Cup semi-final, and they couldn't play one of their players, their main player, because if they played him, they would owe money which they couldn't afford.
Who was that? Picquion? No, he scored that day.
Can't remember. It was one of the.
Was it Benjani?
No, it was one of their forwards. I can't remember his name. It was one of their forwards. They couldn't play him.
Canu maybe.
They had to pay money which they couldn't afford, so they couldn't even. Everyone's like, "Oh, they can't even play their players. Like, surely we've won this." And they were already relegated from the Premier League, and we still lost that game.
Dr. Tottenham knows no bounds, man.
Only Spurs can lose the unlosable games. That's what our.
But then, when you don't give them a chance, they win.
Exactly. When you're like, this is over, like we're not getting anything.
Yeah.
Somehow pull it out of the bag. It happens that way.
Madness, isn't it? It's absolutely madness. The most confusing club in world football is Tottenham Hotspur. But look, that is the Champions League situation. I want to thank you all for joining us today. That is all we have. We're back tomorrow for preview day. Burnley away. Let's have it. We'll see you there tomorrow. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.